Welcome to Adventuring for Knowledge.
A place where we expand our knowledge about life in general through adventure and long-form conversations.
Tune in, relax, and let the learning begin.
There is time for everything. Well, we'll get to it. Welcome everyone to Adventuring for Knowledge podcast. We have an exciting episode to record today. We have Tosha. That's right?
That's right. Hello.
From Peace People Project.
You know it.
Yeah. Is this the first time you do a podcast? Or
It's my first podcast.
Really? Nice. There you go. Cherries over here. And we have over here, we have...
Sol from Casa Congo.
There you go. Who will be jumping in here and there, just saying whatever he feels, right? And we have me, Manuel. Brody's over in Sweden doing soccer tryouts. He's my co-partner.
Cool.
And Andres, he's busy with life. With his parents came from Mexico, so he's taking them around. So it's just me today.
Perfect.
Which is good enough, I guess.
Yeah, it's great.
So I'll try not to mess up. So I guess we'll just start by, I want to know more about you. I mean, everyone wants to know more about you. And where did you come from?
Yeah.
Where did you grow up?
Sure.
And how did you develop your love for nature?
Okay, cool. Good questions. I am from Sarnia, Ontario.
Nice.
I did not develop my love for nature there. I moved out to Victoria, actually.
There you go. There's
This is the spot where I developed my love for nature, actually. So true. I did my master's here at UVic, and I was in an exercise science program. Mm-hmm. And the course that I was a teaching assistant for, Human Health, Wellness, and Potential, that really expanded my mind of like what it means to be healthy. And yeah, I got more active. I spent more time with nature, and that's where I fell in love with nature and protecting it.
And protecting nature.
Yeah.
So in your opinion, what does it mean to be healthy?
What does it mean to be healthy? We were just talking about this earlier. So obviously nutrition, physical activity, but then going beyond that as well. So having occupational health, doing something you love, doing something meaningful that fulfills you, reaching your potential, being creative, having social health, healthy relationships, making time for that, and being creative.
Yeah, there's just so much that involves health.
And spirituality.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This year, I've been trying to connect with my spirituality more. And it's not like lighting a candle and praying, or it's way more than that. It's reflecting, it's writing it down, it's having conversations about it.
Totally.
And just figuring shit out.
Yeah. And I actually never thought I was a spiritual person until I kind of expanded my idea of what health was through that course with Dr. Lara Lazan. And then I realized I'm so spiritual, like connecting with nature, staring at trees, just feeling like we're all one and wanting to protect and be part of the health of the earth and the animals and the people.
Yeah. And then from there, from your master's, what did you do next?
What did I do next? I moved back to Sarnia, Ontario, because I picked up photography as I was spending more time in nature out here. I was really inspired, and I was taking lots of photos of like hiking and nature, mountains, trees, animals. And then friends and family from home started asking me to do photo shoots. Oh. So every time I would go home for Christmas, I would do some photo shoots. And then I started booking weddings, and that was really exciting for the creative side as well. So I moved home to pursue that. While I was still finishing my master's. Yeah. And that turned into a full-blown photography career that I was able to establish there. And then I just moved back here to Vancouver 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you're still doing photography? Obviously,
I am, yeah.
And then you started the Peace People Project.
Exactly, yeah. Those are my two businesses. Nice. My babies.
Your babies.
Yeah.
So what is a Peace People Project?
Peace People Project started as... I just wanted to do more with the information that I had learned and what has inspired me so much about pursuing veganism and beyond, like just expanding your mindset and knowledge and doing whatever we can to be better people and do better for the world around us. So there was some documentaries that really inspired me along that path. And so I started Peace People Project to bring the community together in Sarnia to show the documentaries that had inspired me. So that was the beginning of Peace People Project. And I would throw these documentary screening events with free vegan food and invite everyone to come. And that was great. And then I just kept wanting to do more and more and more. I know that apparel, like wearing a shirt with a vegan message, is such an easy way to spread the message around and plant seeds. Like you're ordering coffee, the barista maybe is going to read your shirt. You don't even have to mention veganism or say anything, right? It's just an easy, casual, natural way to just get people thinking. So I wanted to make shirts, but I also was learning about the clothing industry and the impacts of that. Yeah. So that evolved into the secondhand activism apparel clothing line. And now I'm doing workshops where we met, festivals.
So you go
as much
to
as I can.
thrift shops and get used shirts.
I do.
Resell them with a vegan lover. There you go.
There you go, baby.
And that starts a conversation.
Exactly,
you know?
right?
It is a good point that you make. That's so like easy to just spread.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything.
It's
like you're already wearing a shirt, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe not. That's great too.
Not. So you feel a desire to share the knowledge with the people?
I do, because it's win-win-win. Like everyone wins.
Everyone wins, yeah.
Yeah, so it's such a positive thing.
It is. And it fuels you as well to be better.
It does.
Actually walk the talk. And
totally. And when I went vegan, that wasn't the end. Like I went vegan and then I was in the mindset of how can I be a better person? How can I lighten my footprint? How can I do better to others around me? And how can I protect the earth? And that led into so many other things like zero waste and
there's so much.
Learning about racism and just all other forms of oppression and issues in the world.
Yeah. The other day I was having a conversation at work and it was like we listed like 100 things wrong with this.
That sounds very pessimistic.
I know.
Did you do 200 good things after to balance it?
We were like tried. Clearly, it wasn't a productive day at work. But we were trying to solve every single problem that we came up with, and it's so hard.
Let's hear a couple.
We are so deep. Like for example, we were talking about importing goods from other countries, right? And we were talking like how it's crazy the amount of waste that goes into importing something, a good.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about food.
Yeah.
Like importing apples or bananas from down south.
Yeah.
And how much waste there involves in there, like transportation-wise, packaging, and then you get it to the place where it needs to be, and then you need to like maybe cool it, and then you use all these other resources. So then I started saying, okay, well, what if we only buy what's local to us?
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
And that's it. In a 100-mile radius, we don't have to go out and import things. But then there was some good argument with regards to, but we love coffee. We can't grow coffee anywhere here.
You can. I was just saying today, I came up with my next T-shirt message.
Yeah.
Greenhouses over slaughterhouses.
Oh, there you go.
With a greenhouse, you can grow anything.
Yeah, that is so true.
Yeah.
But you just have to put that extra effort. And that was my point. Like, if you really like coffee or if you really like avocados, you're gonna have to put the effort into acquiring those something else or acquiring the knowledge to produce that.
Yeah.
And people,
we can do it.
We can.
We have so many geniuses.
So smart,
We're solving all sorts of things that make money for people. So let's do the ones that save the planet too.
Exactly. And that was my second argument that we came. There's two types of people with money in this world: the people who are greedy and trying to just make themselves more powerful, and the people who are actually trying to do research and trying to solve things. But those were just two arguments.
We're group two, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We're
of
group
course.
two.
That's why we're here. But the person at work said, well, what about New York? There's so many people that you can't consume from a 100-mile radius. Rooftop. There's so many things that we can do.
So many solutions.
There are so many solutions. So those are just thoughts that are provocative, and we came to the conclusion that just even having a conversation about it, it plants a seed, like you said,
Yeah.
in someone's brain, listening to us around us,
Yeah.
or to ourselves, that
Yeah.
we can do better. Anyways, there's so much.
There is so much.
Yeah. So let's start with the number one thing that you mentioned, veganism.
Yeah.
So how did you start it, right?
Yeah,
And
so how and why?
Why veganism?
So I was already vegetarian while I was doing my master's here at UVic. And that wasn't for like any reasons, honestly. I just kind of naturally became a vegetarian.
Yeah.
I just realized I was buying and choosing and craving less meat, and then all of a sudden I was never eating it, but I never made like the choice to be a vegetarian. But I think I was a vegetarian for like 3 years, and then I saw like a 5-minute clip of animals in factory farms, and that was enough for me. Like, I just had never seen the animals going through what happens behind closed doors.
Yeah.
And the suffering, and I went vegan on the spot, like right then and there. I wasn't prepared for it. I knew no vegans. I knew nothing about it, other
Must have been
than
hard then.
it
Not
wasn't.
really?
It was just so rooted in ethics and
Yeah.
doing the right thing that
Yeah.
there was nothing that could stop me. Like, I wasn't. I remember I was so busy, I didn't even have time to go grocery shopping, so I just ate nachos and salsa for like a week until I figured it out. And it was chill. It's like,
Yeah.
whatever. The
Your
animals
ethics were
aren't-
so powerful that you didn't
Yeah.
even bother about anything else.
Exactly.
And then eventually with time, educating yourself about
Yeah.
nutrition and all that came with time.
Totally.
And what
Yeah.
resources do you use? I mean, you mentioned the documentaries, but
Yeah,
with regards to
yeah.
health, what things do you use?
What resources do I use for health? Well, What the Health is a great documentary.
Yeah.
Dr. Gregor is a great source of vegan nutrition
Is that
information.
the How Not to Die?
Yeah. He's
You
got
can find it in
awesome
our
little
resources
clips.
tab, yeah.
Perfect. And yeah, there's some other ones, like the China study is a
yeah.
great, the largest, most comprehensive study ever done on human health. Showed that a vegan diet is the healthiest. A vegan diet is the only thing that can reverse heart disease.
Yeah.
And what else? I thought I had something else, but
Yeah.
it's gone.
Just thoughts everywhere.
Yeah.
Our brains are so complex. There's so many.
What was it?
thoughts
Oh,
that
I know
go
what
in
it
there.
was.
Crazy.
I wanted to mention the blue zones. So the blue zones are very interesting because it's not a study, so there's no really potential for bias, right?
Yeah,
There's no actual study happening. It's just population data. So it's the 5 regions of the world where the people live the longest and they have the lowest disease rates. And then, so from that, they studied, okay, what are these people doing? What are they eating? What are their lifestyles like? And they're very much plant-based, so high rice, beans, vegetables, fruits, legumes, and yeah.
Yeah. And
That's
then from there.
That's it. That's what they're all doing.
Yeah.
And then like low smoking and a moderate level of physical activity.
Yeah. Yeah. But there's so much to health, like you mentioned, we were talking about, and that nutrition is just the number one thing.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And then it evolves from there,
Exactly.
psychologically speaking. Like there's so
Yeah.
like as a person who's going vegan for the first time, in what I've seen from people who
Yeah.
have, psychologically it's stressful.
Yeah, it's
like,
stressful.
Oh my god.
It's
what
stressful
now?
in some ways, but then it's so comforting in other ways.
Yes.
Because you're finally like, I feel like that was always a thing that was subconsciously like an internal conflict.
Yeah.
Everyone knows, like you mentioned animal cruelty with food, and people say, I know, but I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to hear more about it. But you kind of know, but you just never really like sit down and face it.
And face it and actually like.
But it's
reflect
such a
on it.
relief when you actually make that commitment to not being part of it. You just like, you free yourself from the normalized cruelty that you're a part of. And that feels so good.
It does feel really good.
Yeah. So I like to focus on the positives.
Yeah, that is good. That is very good. Focusing on the positives.
Yeah.
And there's so many resources out there now that it's so easy.
It's so easy.
Another argument that we were talking about in work, so I'm bringing it up again,
Bring it up.
is that in some places it is very easy to be a vegan. Very easy. And there's people who have the means to very easily be a vegan.
Yeah.
But there's places in this world that it's literally impossible. Or next to
there's
really impossible.
I would say like
up north.
people living off the land. Yeah.
Exactly.
And then that's more like living like a lion, right?
Exactly.
People say lions eat meat. Yes, they have the biological need to eat meat. They have shorter intestines. They have acidic stomachs. They have claws and fangs. Fangs? Wait,
I don't know.
that word just seemed like not a word when I said it.
It sounds weird.
Who knows what I'm trying to say? Anyways, so that's a lion being a lion, and we're sitting here like drinking coffee, like not being a lion, you know? So people who are living off the land, if they're gonna fish and hunt and do what they need to survive, that's very different from like 99% of human population.
And I am all for that, you know, whatever you can do to survive. If we were in a, like, would you agree that if we were in a phase of like life or death, we were like, okay, now we need to
I don't know what I would do, honestly, because I don't value my life over an animal's life.
Oh, that is a good way to put it.
So I would be maybe okay with dying in that position, because I don't have the natural instinct.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never been in that life or death scenario, so I can't say for sure, but also, what's the animal eating?
Yeah, that is true.
Right?
That is very true.
So I don't know. I'll find some grass, figure it out. I'll go get out in the ocean and find some seaweed. I'm sure there's something.
That is very interesting. That because a lot of people, I mean, my first instinct would be like survival of the fittest at that point.
Yeah.
You know, but it's very selfless and very not selfish that you say, I value my life the same as the animal.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's and that's where.
That's coming from a comfortable place of just having a full belly of the green cuisine and not being like in that life or death scenario. Yeah. So maybe I'm like
but I totally
fully
agree that
speaking from truth, but
there are so many things in this world. If you want to gain the knowledge to survive off of a plant-based diet, you can do it. Even in the harshest environments. Yeah. It's just a lot of time and effort for those people who do not have the means.
Exactly.
But here, now in Victoria,
so easy.
It's the easiest
we
thing
are
in the world.
so lucky. Like, we're in the age of information. Like, we can Google search or ecosia, which plants trees. When you do a search, it's better than Google.
Ecosia?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Write it down.
Yeah.
So you can search anything. Like, if you want to eat steak, right? Vegan steak recipe.
And boom, it comes up.
Yeah. If you want to say, where is the nearest vegan food to me, you go on Happy Cow or you go on a vegan Facebook group and you ask, where can I find vegan gelato?
Mm-hmm. So let's kind of like pinpoint. You mentioned compassion, right? And you value an animal's life the same way that of your life. Now, in the more environmental aspect, veganism plays a big role.
Yeah, for sure.
Huge role.
Yeah.
Can you explain?
Yeah, totally. So animal agriculture is the leading cause of ocean dead zones, species extinction, deforestation, desertification, wildlife displacement, and water, soil, and air pollution. And it's the largest greenhouse gas emitting industry in the planet.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that it's messing up.
It's just a lot,
and then like it takes 2 months worth of showers to make one cow burger. So there's a lot of water used. Animal agriculture is using 1/3 of the Earth's supply of fresh water. Yeah. And 1 in 6 people go without access to clean drinking water every day. Mm-hmm. So it's ethical, like, to the animals and our fellow humans. It takes 10 to 20 times the amount of resources to put in to feed an animal versus the amount that you get out. So, like, you put 10 to 20 pounds of food in, you get 1 pound of meat out. So it's hugely resource intensive, and we have people dying of starvation and people without access to drinking water, and we're essentially stealing it so that richer people can eat animals.
Mm-hmm. That's a huge issue. And if those agricultural lands to feed the animals, or even for the animals to live, they live in a constrained area, but to feed the animals, if that land could be used to feed people by planting other crops or more variety of crops.
Yeah. And all the land that grows all the soy and all the crops that feed the animals as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That could be soy made for humans, or rice or corn or beans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's the compassion side, there's the environmental, which is huge.
Yeah.
And that's the basis of veganism. There's so many other reasons why.
Yeah.
I mean,
There is.
huge reasons why. But one thing that I want to challenge is it's not only veganism, because a lot of vegans in this world, they go to the market and they buy a tofurkey that's wrapped in plastic.
Yeah.
And then they eat it, you know?
Yeah.
Sure, they are vegans, they're playing the huge environmental impact.
Yeah.
They are saving a lot of animals, they're saving a lot of lives by distributing water and all of that.
Yeah.
Just all the reasons to mention. But you are still consuming the plastic. You're still
exactly. You're still polluting the planet.
polluting the planet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I think it's a great transition to switch over to some of the vegan meats and cheeses right away. Like switching from animal products to non-animal products it's one of the biggest impacts you can have environmentally.
Yes.
Like that is the best thing you can do to reduce your environmental impact. So if that means, the animal product was probably coming in packaging as well. So to make that swap, that's a great start. But then going beyond that, if you have access to foods, and most of us do, especially here in Victoria, Vancouver, or any major cities, to buy your food and your products as well without packaging, then you absolutely should. Yeah.
yeah, because that's another huge environmental impact in this world.
Yeah.
The plastic. And
We're on our way to have more plastic than fish in the oceans.
Yeah,
By 2050, it's estimated.
yeah, and if you take a sample of water and anywhere in the ocean,
There's
it has
microplastics.
microplastic.
Exactly.
We, as humans, consume a credit card of microplastic every single year.
Yeah.
So it's crazy.
Yeah, we all have plastics inside of us. It's scary.
It is very scary. So the first step, and this is all from viewing it as the health of the world, the health of the planet.
Absolutely,
The
yeah.
first thing is veganism.
Yeah.
That's your choice, your call. Mine too.
Yeah.
And then zero waste.
Yeah,
Another beautiful thing for this planet.
totally.
And what else is there? What else can we do?
What else can we do?
As personal.
Ooh, I think connecting with nature is super important.
Yes.
So spend time to
Very happy that you
appreciate
said
and
that.
be inspired by the world around us. Get out in nature, breathe the fresh air. It just really helps to remember what you're fighting to protect and to set that value strong. So you stick to it.
It reminds you what you are putting your effort towards.
Yeah.
To saving this beautiful planet. I mean, I haven't seen a single, and I've been to a lot of places. I haven't seen something more beautiful than a sunset. You know?
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
like-
that's so nice. Yeah, every time.
Every time.
Gets me
it's
every
like
time.
You have the ability to put yourself in the way of beauty,
Mm-hmm.
like a sunset, or you hike a mountain and you see this beautiful trees around you and snow.
I love that feeling.
The combination of trees and snow, I think that's so beautiful.
It is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Being on top of a mountain and just feeling like you're so small. I love that. The world
Isn't
is
it
so
crazy?
powerful. Nature's
We're
so
insane.
powerful.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. If you really think about it, we are really small. We are insignificant.
But then our choices are
But then our
significant.
choices are massive.
Yeah.
I was reading-
As 7 billion people
yeah.
doing, everyone's doing kind of different things, but in some ways we're kind of all doing the same things. And if we could make those things be veganism and zero waste, we'd have a huge
impact.
hugely less impact.
Yeah. But at the same
huge-
time, we're one person in 7 billion.
One person who has the opportunity to inspire others, like wearing a
Exactly.
vegan shirt,
There you
talking
go.
about these issues, just
about
being a
sharing it.
positive example to people around you.
And then it trickles down from there.
Exactly.
Veganism has been growing like 400% in the last 2-3 years.
Yeah.
It's crazy because people are realizing that it plays a huge role in the health of this planet and on your own health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a win-win-win.
It's a win-win-win, like you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was reading a book. Have you read Anthropocene? No? So I strongly encourage it.
Okay.
It's
It takes me 3 years to read a
Me
book.
too.
I'll do it.
I've never read it. Literally, I've never read it.
We'll
And I
start
thought-
now, and we'll come back on for another episode in 3 years.
I've read the first 20 pages.
Oh, there's pictures.
Yeah, there's pictures.
Great.
and
That makes it better for me.
So what Anthropocene is the Anthropocene is a very geological scientific phrase.
I dig it.
And in 2000, this geologists came out with a word that said it is the point where humans have changed the health and the stable of the planet. We are changing to a different era. So this planet has in the geological timescale, there are many eras that our planet has had, including mass extinctions, including a lot of ice ages, 3 ice ages, and then periods where the Earth's climate has been stable and has been able to flourish life from it.
Yeah.
So Anthropocene is an era where we as humans have disrupted the climate and the whole physical, chemical, and biological compound of this planet up to the point that it is no longer stable. So our last era was the Holocene. That was a couple of million years ago. And then 11,000 years ago, our planet became stable based on the chemical compositions in the atmosphere and the climate, and the sea level started to level out after the ice age. And then humans came along, right? And then in just 50 years, Anthropocene there's an Anthropocene working group that has investigated a lot of the human impact in this world, and they determined that in 1950, since then, because of the boom of baby boomers as well as consumerism products,
capitalism,
and energy consumption of energy, and
convenience lifestyle,
the release of chemicals into the atmosphere, and the radioactive isotopes that are released into landfills, and fertilizers that are spread into.
Are we listing off here at 100?
I'm sorry.
No, keep going.
Since 1950, it has been determined that we are entering a new era, that our Earth's atmosphere is not stable enough.
Yeah.
It's not stable, and that's because of human impact.
Yeah.
And
you see the natural disasters happening at a very alarming rate now too.
It's ridiculous. And the point of this book is to show you illustrations and scientific evidence of that happening.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to read that.
It's huge that there's so much knowledge in it.
Maybe I'll do an audiobook.
Definitely.
That's more manageable for me.
In the first 20 pages, and I learned what I've told you right now. And it's already very powerful.
I'll just start on page 21 then.
And just by reading that, it put a perspective that we have a big impact in this Earth. Like, in the life of 4.6 billion years of this planet, the Earth has never seen anything like our impact.
Yeah.
And that's from years of eras of animals and species habitating it, and then dying, and then habitating, and then dying. We have had the biggest impact. And so how do we go back? You know?
Ooh, yeah. I think all the things we've talked about.
Yeah.
Spend time in nature.
And I like that you said spend time in nature, because nature is powerful. You get a lot of energy from nature.
Yeah, even growing your own food.
Yes, growing your own food is very important too. Because if you grow your own food, you're not consuming from the big players out there.
Exactly. And you're more connected to it too.
But if you do not know how to grow your own food, there's a lot of farmers markets out there.
Absolutely. Yeah, supporting local farmers. You can get organic, package free. Actually, that's one of the only ways to get truly zero waste produce, because at the grocery stores, they put those plastic stickers. And at the farmers markets, you can avoid that, which is really nice.
Yeah.
And then supporting local and seasonal.
Yeah. And then you get to talk to the farmers.
Exactly.
And see how they grow
Connect with the person who grew the food.
And maybe learn some things here or there.
Totally.
I love it. Going to a market fills my heart with happiness. We had 2 podcast episodes with 2 farmers, and it's amazing the knowledge that they have about food in general.
I'll have to check them out.
Yeah. And it's amazing to hear their stories and how their passion for food evolved into growing organic produce. And that's another thing that maybe it's worth talking, the value of organic foods.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Pesticides are very toxic, causing a lot of health issues. The workers as well. Like, for instance, there's a banana documentary. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but I think it's on Netflix. And it shows like the health issues that the workers are having when they're spraying these chemicals.
Yeah.
They're getting like burns on their skins and cancers and, you know, really like a lot of major deformities from being hands-on with the chemicals and the toxins. And then obviously it's polluting our earth, our water, our air, and then we're consuming it as well.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Lose, lose, lose.
Lose, lose, lose right there instead of win, win, win. How we're talking about.
Exactly. Get those sprays out of here.
Get those sprays out of here. Like Roundup that they spray on corn and on wheat, and then we ingest that through bread, and when we buy corn, it's crazy. And I want to emphasize that we are not perfect, you know?
No.
No one is perfect.
No.
Like there's bound to be some times that we like slip.
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
we like, and I'm gonna bring up a point.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so during your presentation, right?
Yeah.
At VegFest, Vegetoria.
Yeah.
My mother-in-law, right?
Yeah.
She loved your message, right? But then afterwards, she had an argument, and I didn't know
Oh.
how to.
Let's hear it.
So what she was saying is that when you were talking to us, it was in the microphone,
Yeah.
and it was under a tent, and you were using a blender, and all of those components have plastic in there.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
I like where this is going, and I
Yeah.
have an answer ready for you.
I know, right? And so she was saying, how can she spread the word about zero waste if she's utilizing all of these components, right? And my answer in my mind, because she's my mother-in-law, I don't want to. Well, you gotta lose some to win some, you know?
Yeah.
Risk reward.
Totally.
The amount of people that you touched in the speech is probably much, and the impact that those people are gonna have in this planet is
Yeah.
much greater than the risk of and the downfall of you using a microphone or a blender.
Yeah.
You know?
So I have like a little thing to add in there is that I buy everything secondhand. So that doesn't really tackle the energy component.
Yeah.
But like if I'm buying a blender, I would get it secondhand. So Craigslist, Kijiji. So the plastics aren't new plastics, and there's no packaging, and it's reusing everything that exists. Like my home is fully furnished, down to the dishes, the silverware, the pillows, the everything from secondhand things. So
That is beautiful, and that's one of the. I'm gonna bring up.
So tell her that.
I'm not. I'll send her the link to this episode. She can listen to it.
And then hopefully, I mean, I just ran Vancouver Vegan Festival, and we used green energy to run the whole festival, which was really nice. I'm not sure exactly what Vegetoria used, but yeah, that's a good point.
But it's a good point that if you want to spread a message, you want to be flawless on spreading that message. But at the same time, it's like there's a lot of components that you can't control. You know, there's like.
There is. I mean, hey, if she's inspired to not use blenders, then she should go for that. And
I know, but it's so hard, you know? There's essentials in life that.
I don't think
As
there's
society.
any essential that requires us to use a blender.
Yeah.
You know, if you're very
Yeah, that's
passionate
true.
about not
That is
using
very
blenders,
true.
you could achieve that for sure.
That
So
is very true. Yeah.
there's always more steps to take. And like I said in the presentation too, it's I'm not like fully zero waste. I do have like a once a month rule
Yeah,
where
I
I'll
remember that,
buy
yeah.
something and I reserve it for like getting a new bamboo toothbrush or like a new pair of underwear, like things that I can't buy secondhand.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone can set their own rules and
In my,
try to go as far as they can.
Exactly, yeah. And the way I view it is I go through life and it's something that I try to put as much attention to it, you know, and as much effort. But if I slip, like it's very easy for me in the past to like, oh my God, I'm horrible. And I'm stressed out for the rest of the day. And it's like, fuck. Sorry, I shouldn't say fuck.
I was wondering earlier, can I say fuck? I didn't.
Sorry everyone. But yeah, it's like I'm slipping, and then but at the same time it's like I'm motivated to do better.
Absolutely.
To be more prepared.
Yeah.
To not let that error happen again.
Yeah.
And to like
Live and learn.
live and learn, exactly, because we are not perfect.
We're not.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier about how to, like you go to the zero waste shop And there's behind the scenes packaging
Yeah,
that's there,
definitely.
right? Like we're not
100%.
like getting our food like straight from the plant.
Oh, no.
But we are sharing, like if you go to the zero waste shop, it's 100 people sharing one package
Exactly, which is
instead
way
of
better.
100 individual packages that are then also wrapped in the one
Yeah.
large package.
Yeah. It's
So
an
it's
improvement.
it's a great solution for now, but we, as with everything, we can keep trying to go further and further
We can
to
keep doing better, yeah.
do more.
And I'm gonna bring up the 6 R's. I had a podcast episode with Zero Waste Emporium here,
Cool.
and they brought 6 R's that about zero waste, which is refuse. So obviously refuse anything that's not zero waste.
Exactly.
Reduce.
Or that you don't need.
Yeah. And reduce consumption or eliminate. It's sometimes hard to eliminate, but
Yeah.
you can reduce it definitely. Reuse, like you said, reuse everything. Pretty much
Everything.
everything.
Reuse.
Yeah. Recycle. It's if you do end up consuming, make sure that you recycle. Because
Yeah.
there's so many things that are recyclable, and there's materials that are better to recycle than not.
However, I really would prefer this list to
stop.
not have recycle
Oh yeah, definitely.
because, can I interject and then we'll
Oh, no,
continue the
give her.
list?
Give her.
So for instance, like one plastic water bottle. So you recycle a plastic water bottle, or
Doesn't even make it to.
it doesn't. I mean, okay, a third of plastic water bottles will get recycled,
Yeah.
and that requires a lot of trucks to drive around to pick them up every week. It requires a whole facility with using a lot of energy to break it down, and then only a portion of that actually turns into a new product that's usable.
Yeah.
But another third of recyclables end up in the landfill, where they get immersed in rainwater and they're releasing toxins into the atmosphere. Plastic never disappears, so that's happening forever.
Yeah.
Breaks it down into microplastic, pollutes us, ends up in our bodies, and then another third ends up in the ocean. So the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, or there's like 6 large plastic islands, and the Great Pacific Garbage Patch is 3 times larger than France.
You can look it up. Yeah.
Yeah,
I looked it up the other
totally.
day. It's crazy.
So that's it. That's a third of plastic that you put in the recycling bin,
Yeah.
ends up in the ocean. Another third ends up in the landfill, and another third gets recycled, but not all of it ends up
Yeah.
being usable.
Yeah.
And that's best case scenario. So I don't know. To me,
mean,
recycle's out of that list.
It's out of that list. I agree. I 100% agree. But if you slip one day,
yeah,
make sure that it's for something that it's more easily recyclable than plastic.
Yeah.
Like glass.
totally.
Glass is probably the best recyclable material out
Yeah.
there.
And
Or-
like a good example of this is the other day, we went to get beer, and I would refill my growler
Yeah.
at a local brewery, but there isn't one in my neighborhood, and so we chose one that has the pop top, and then I can reuse it
Oh, okay.
for
Yeah.
filling up my growlers
Yeah,
or kombucha
yeah.
or whatever. So that's a
Yeah.
great way to not put it actually in the recycling, to try to choose a material that you can reuse.
Yeah.
Like be responsible for that instead of getting rid of it right away.
And then the next one is rot.
Compost.
Compost. Huge. Because as humans, we need food. And it is
We
bound
do.
to. We eat food, and then all of a sudden, we can't eat the stem of a carrot. I mean, or we can.
We can.
But if you don't eat the stem of a carrot, do it.
Are you even vegan if you don't eat the stem of the carrot? Let's talk about that.
Damn, you got me. But yeah, do your own compost and repair, like you mentioned. Or did you mention, or did I read it somewhere?
I was going to mention it, but I didn't want to interrupt you. Maybe you
Yeah.
read my mind.
And maybe repairing. Yeah. No, I read it on your description on your website.
Yeah, fix
Yeah.
things.
Fix things, and you get to learn how they work, and then you maybe get to suggest how to do it better without using.
Totally. Or support someone who already knows how to do that.
Yeah.
Pay them to do it.
Okay, so I want to talk about something else, right? So in the Anthropocene book, they also define the Anthropocene era beginning in 1950 because it was where technofossils started coming in. So technofossils are defined as components, material components that humans have created that will remain on this planet forever.
Okay.
And that, let's say, now we're digging up fossils and their bones and other plants and rock, sedimented in rocks and stuff like that. But now if in 10,000 years from now they dig up our crap, it's gonna be technofossils. It's gonna be phones. It's gonna everything that's in the landfill.
true.
You know, it's gonna be pieces of laptop. It's gonna be like
Yeah, I
everything.
needed to hear this today.
Every technological thing that you consume is going to end up
Yeah.
as a fossil.
Yeah.
Eventually,
And
if they don't burn it or they don't.
I am
use it.
using my phone to the very last. Oh man, it is the worst.
That's good.
It is
That's awesome.
broken in so many places
That's
and
beautiful.
crashes on me all
Yeah,
the time.
yeah.
And I was just talking about how maybe this would be one of those things where I get a new one, but you've just reminded me, no, I'm going to find a secondhand phone when the time comes.
When the time comes, when you literally cannot make it go. And to be honest, back in the day, no one had a phone. And
Exactly.
They survived just fine.
They did.
I mean, I'm a consumer of the phone too. I have one right now.
Yeah.
And it's pretty recent. You know, it got passed on through my wife, but then my wife got a new one. So it's like, damn,
Damn.
we got hooked. You know, it's like.
Did you not have a phone before that?
I did, but it was all. I get the second hands from my wife.
Perfect.
Yeah, but
I need someone
you gotta
like
go,
that.
You gotta give her until the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, and is it really necessary? Who knows?
To have a phone?
Yeah,
It's not necessary, but it is helping us change the world.
it is.
The
And
access to information.
that brings me.
I think that could be a necessary evil at this point until we can get people reset into more sustainable living
Yeah,
mindset.
and that brings me to the point of I want to hear your opinion on social media.
Social media, okay, it's a great tool.
Yeah.
For spreading information about important things.
Yeah.
There's obviously some negative aspects that can affect people's mental health. But I think it's a really awesome tool. I think
Yeah.
it's very positive.
And that's very interesting.
What do you
Yeah.
think?
Well, how do you use social media?
How do I use social media? Okay, so I use it to,
Like, think of the physical components that you use.
yeah, like I use it mostly to connect with people and to plan workshops or
okay, so
potlucks
yeah,
or
yeah.
festivals
No, yeah.
like that will bring people actually together in physical form, because that's obviously more valuable. But the reach of social media, like making a Facebook event like Vancouver Vegan Festival, we pretty much only promoted on social media,
social media,
and some
right?
posters,
Yeah, it's
which
very
weren't zero
powerful.
waste, and one radio ad, or not radio, sorry, one newspaper ad, and social media, and about 10,000 people came. And of course, some of those people were just walking by that area that day as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, to get that many people to come out to a vegan festival just through social media, that's awesome.
It's so powerful nowadays. It's crazy powerful. But at the same time, like you mentioned, it can get very harmful if you not consume it in the right. I wouldn't say consume it. I would say that social media is perfect to spread a message.
Yeah.
And to sharing your ideas.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
But there's obviously a consumer on the other side.
Yeah.
You know? There's always going to be a consumer on the other side.
Yeah.
And those consumers are the ones that are impacted in human health.
Yeah.
So might as well spread a good message.
Exactly.
If you are in a stage in your life where you are not consuming, you are sharing your knowledge, then it should be a good one.
Yeah.
Do
Totally.
you agree?
I agree 100%.
And one thing that I want to explore is I had a conversation with my sister, right? And she was saying how sometimes zero waste is very hard for developing countries to implement.
Yeah.
Like picture a person living in Mexico, in the middle of Mexico City, who's dirt poor.
Yeah.
You know, like how can they get exposed to social media, to zero waste?
Yeah, totally.
And then I put the.
So how can they be inspired, or how can
yeah.
we reach them,
How
or
can we,
how can they?
overall how can
we help?
it be done? How
can
we
it be
help?
done? Yeah.
And what I mentioned was that if you picture everyone, what if a Mexican person And I'm just choosing Mexico randomly because I'm Mexican.
I've been there, yeah.
And I've been there.
I've traveled there.
Just walking down the street, right? And what are they getting bombarded with? And then they get home, what are they getting bombarded with as soon as everyone has a TV, you know?
Yeah.
What are they getting bombarded with? You open a media, you open a poster, and it says like, new Nikes!
Yeah.
Get them now! Or like, buy this, buy that, buy this, buy that. And just crap stuff that it's
people
not
trying to sell
good
things
for this world.
Yeah.
The marketing world is just bombarding everyone's brains with
It is. It's
ideas
manipulating
of like,
everyone.
we need more, we need this, we need that. If we were to replace those messages and posters with be happier or like,
healthy,
about this planet.
healthy lifestyle tips.
Just imagine like a whole hour of marketing, like saying like, this is healthy because of this. This is healthy because of this. Just facts of like good things for this planet.
Totally. And that's why I love
change the world.
That's why I love companies like Beyond Burger. Like, however, there is packaging, but on the vegan side of things, they are a company that is not in it to make money. They want to make the Beyond Burger cheaper than any other meat. Their mission is to save the planet.
Yeah.
So any advertising that's coming from Beyond is like from a good place for the betterment of the people, the planet, and the animals. And their mission is not to get rich. They could get rich off this product.
Well,
this product's
of course,
very exciting and it's very successful, but their mission is make it cheaper and make it there. Like, it's an option beside every
Super
meat
available.
option,
Yes.
and it's the cheaper option.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
everyone will choose it.
Yeah, that is very beautiful. And if we can target through advertising everyone in this world, because nowadays, like you said, social media is so powerful, and news, like you mentioned the news or the radio and the TV ads, like all those have a really powerful effect on people. And if you can spread messages through there, that will be ideal.
Two of my favorite ways to get the word out there is the shirts.
Yeah, the shirts.
And chalking.
Chalking? What's
Yeah.
that?
So like writing messages in chalk on the sidewalks, because it's
That is so true.
It's super easy, and it's like it's not vandalism, right? Because it washes away. Obviously, get some eco-friendly chalks. But yeah, that's a great way to reach people on the streets. You know.
Yeah, I agree.
Off the screen.
Off the screen, on the streets. I imagine like having a group of 100 people chalking in Mexico City. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
If anyone's listening from Mexico, please organize this.
Yes. Please write, go vegan.
Everywhere in Mexico.
Buy package free.
There you go. Okay, so if you had a message to spread in this whole entire world, right? If you had a billboard in this whole entire world, what would that billboard say?
One billboard?
Yeah, or
how many words?
you can make it as whatever you want. It's a message. You want
One
to get
message
to people.
to
You want
the
to get to their
people.
heart, to their soul.
You couldn't have given me a heads up on this one? I feel like I could have really had something put together.
Put it on the spot. It's coming from your soul right now.
All right. One message for the
You
people.
can take time to think. I mean, like, we can talk over here. What are you writing down?
I've been just writing down stuff that is interesting for me, like the book I anthroposing, like can't even say the name, but but it's a pretty unique perspective. I never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
That we're entering as humans a new era.
Yeah.
Of where we're like really accelerating in the rate at which the natural processes
It's crazy.
are happening, you know? Like, yeah, the planet would be healthy if we would not intervene in a way, if you just let it be chaotic like it has to be, you know?
Yeah. It's the circle of life. The Lion King teaches you everything.
Rafiki.
Yeah, Rafiki, yeah.
He
Like,
knows.
I read somewhere that if you were to leave New York for 2 weeks alone with no human interaction, life will start coming back into the city. And if you leave it for a month, then all of a sudden you would see the tree and the grass growing more and more and more. And
There's
then
a
all of
great
sudden
quote about-
birds will come in, and then animals from the surrounding area will come in, and then life will flourish.
Exactly.
If we were not there.
Have you guys seen the quote that's something about how if all humans disappeared, the earth would thrive, and then if all the bees disappeared, the earth would die? There's something.
Oh, that's powerful.
Yeah, it's better than how I said it, but
But it still sounds really good. Yeah. In the Anthropocene book too, we have a really big Douglas fir tree in Port Renfrew here, in the island, and it's an area where they lumber it, So, a guy saved it, so he changed himself into the tree or something, and they didn't cut it, and it's in the middle of a deforestation place, and it's just this huge tree.
just one tree, the last tree.
No, it's the second tallest tree in Canada.
Yeah.
And
And they
it's
cleared all the others around
They cleared
it?
all the others, but they saved this specific one. And it's 12 meters in diameter and 66 meters long. It's crazy big, and it's aged like 1,000 years old. And just to think that tree is 1,000 years old, it has seen all its life pass through it, and we think that we're better than the tree. Somehow the tree survived for 1,000 years, and we think that we're better. It's like, but they were saying that if we were to put this tree, just putting this tree, if we have the capability, in the middle of a huge city, surrounded by skyscrapers, like, what will people think? They will go by and they'll say like, holy moly, how did this tree like make it here? Like, what if none of these skyscrapers were here?
Yeah, and it was all trees.
And it was all trees. If we could do that, that would be
that's
powerful.
what it was before.
That's what it was before.
All the trees got cleared.
Exactly. It's crazy, and the amount of infrastructure that we have put into this planet, like for roads and stuff. I was reading it. It's for an area of 1 square meter, so it's nothing. It's like you can do it with your hands. 1 square meter. The average human processed stuff is 50 kilograms. So of waste
Yeah.
for every in this planet.
Oh my
ever.
gosh.
It's a lot of waste. Like, you cannot take a step without 50 kilograms of waste created by humans. And the number one is concrete.
Wow.
Because there's so much infrastructure that they use concrete.
Yeah. That's another thing to consider with your environmental impact of like buying stuff that's not zero waste or local is the transportation and the roads needed, the forest cleared, not only for like the animal agriculture, but getting the product to you, building more roads.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you were to buy a house, for example, a used house, of course, don't build yourself a crazy mansion.
Yes.
You know that if concrete were a country, it would rank third in CO2 emissions.
Really?
So it would be China, the United States, and then concrete.
Wow.
That's just like how bad the concrete industry is. You know,
It's crazy, man.
and like it makes you wonder: do you need to keep building more stuff? Like, isn't there physically enough spaces
Yeah.
to give us what we need to survive?
Yeah, there's enough.
You know, like a lot of it, like tying back to like sustainability, like what do you need to be happy and to survive? And if we can each answer that question honestly, I think like we can solve many of our problems too of overconsumption.
Yeah.
Because we live a consumer's life.
Yeah.
We're consumers.
We love consuming.
Minimalism goes totally hand in hand with the vegan and zero waste mindset.
100%.
But like the scales are huge, you know.
It's
like,
huge, yeah.
The scales we're talking about, they're pretty big, and I personally think that we need like the amount of resources and energy and mind and like human power put into like solving the climate change crisis equivalent to like the resources that went into sending people to the moon.
I agree.
You know, like until
Yeah.
like governments and countries and nations can come together
And say one day, even 1
and
week.
like just like solve it. You know, like we need to work together as a human race and not apart.
Yeah.
Like,
But we are in this huge caster wheel where we're just running around. We're like,
But not
we need this, we
completely.
need that. We need, if you need to survive, you need a degree, and then you need to spend all this money and get it from the bank. And
But
then
you
all
have the
this-
power to break free from
you
that.
have the power to jump from the caster wheel.
Yes,
out of
you
the
do.
second-
Say, I'm making my own decisions now.
but
I'm
I
not
think-
your puppet.
Yeah, I don't know. Like in a way, it's changing though.
Oh yeah,
Like the mindset of I need a university degree, or I need to have like a successful career. Like that definition of success is being transformed now, and it's being tied a lot to fulfillment.
Yeah.
You know, like seeking fulfillment of like what fulfills you as a human being.
Yeah.
And now we're more and more surrounded about like, it's like Tosha, you know, like she's doing it because of her ethics and like going back to ethics and values.
Yeah,
I think is a solution. Like
I
that's
agree.
how our ancestors did it, you know. And like that's how like societies worked before. Like it was more driven by ethics than
But
by
nowadays,
big players, you know.
nowadays, where do we get our ethics from? Since we are born, we start developing our ethics through our
From
education system, right?
Ah.
Or through our parents, or through the environment that we are exposed to. So
Through the environment.
through the
mostly.
environment,
It's through the
100%,
environment.
yeah.
And I think like ethics is not anymore more like from the house. It's not from a household level, which I think before it used to be more
yeah,
like from
definitely.
your mom, dad, your family, you know.
That's where
and
you
your
get your
immediate
ethics
community. But now it's just from the globalized markets.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and that's one of the main problems. We get our ethics more from our phone. We pick it up and we're like,
Yeah.
oh, let's Google something, let's do it. Or we're in social media and we're bombarded with all of these like things.
Like
in our,
yeah,
in our
like
face.
you open like I open my phone just out of reflex. I don't even have a notification
right?
at some points, and I
It's
caught
like-
myself. It's just like I have a second to chill, and instead of like being comfortable with my thoughts and my own like me, it's just like.
Boom, it's out there.
And then like Instagram, Facebook, newsfeed, I saw like 200 things that
yeah.
now
And
are in my head.
Your ethics and your values have just twisted a little.
That's why I love to say like spend more time in nature, because
Yes.
that gives you the time to like really appreciate and reflect on where we live and have your own free thoughts. And bringing people together too is something that I love to do, to
it's the
just
best.
have those conversations and bounce ideas off each other and celebrate the good that we're doing. Just
I
work
agree.
together in person with each other and with the trees.
If we can if we can combine and talk about it in community,
Yeah.
in nature, though,
And spending time with animals, that's a
Yeah,
great
that is
way
true.
to
That is
set yourself up for the vegan lifestyle. Like once you meet a pig and give a pig a belly rub or give a cow a hug or listen to a chicken purring, you're going to realize that there's a little life in there that wants to live and wants to avoid pain and has their own ideas and their own values and their own goals and their own will to live.
yeah,
So you can spend some time with animals, nature, and people, and you'll set your ethics up to respect.
and if you even
Everyone.
like, because I know a lot of people who have actually gone to like a slaughterhouse and they actually experience it and the powerful message that leaves
Yep.
to you.
Yep.
And what do you think about that?
I think it's great to see what's going on, especially if you're contributing to it. One of the groups that I'm involved with, it's a global group. It's called the Save Movement.
Yeah.
It's not quite always going to slaughterhouses, but it's bearing witness to animals on the trucks on their way to the slaughterhouse.
Oh, okay, yeah,
So it's kind of that nice balance of you see the animal and you see them moments before their death, but it's not so graphic and so violent that you're watching them actually be slaughtered. It's really powerful
Very powerful.
to see the animals. Like you see a chicken truck pull up and there's thousands of birds on one truck, and then 5 minutes later another one comes up and then you see the truck leave empty, and you know all of those animals are killed now.
Yeah.
And you saw them, like
They
it's
were
so
right
powerful
there.
to look them
You
in
made
the eye.
contact with them.
Yeah, and if it was humans on that truck, everyone would be
crazy.
breaking them free.
Yeah.
But
That's true.
it's normalized to eat animals, and there's laws against, chopping the wires of the truck and freeing the animals. But it's powerful. It really sets you up for the vegan lifestyle and for sharing the message with others as much as you can as well.
Do
And
you
like,
think that if people have like, if we don't take away the option, people will keep doing it? Like,
What do you
would
mean?
it be better? Just like imagine a hypothetical scenario like all of BC bans animal products.
Yeah.
the world
and just
change
force-
on.
Love to
kinda
see
like,
that.
It forces everybody else to be vegan.
I could see
Because
that.
honestly, like
People love it.
it's tasty, you know. Like it's not like you're missing out on certain flavors, but like you can replace them.
You can replace, and
And-
most of the flavors are put in by spices or the stuff that
Exactly.
you put, vegetables that
Yeah.
you use to season it.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah.
No one sees, well, not no one, but most people don't see like the bloody raw flesh of an animal and just chomp right in.
No. If you were to experience that, I bet you would
Except
change
carpaccio.
your carpaccio, yeah. You would change your perspective about eating animals. And not only that, and I'm gonna flip it a little. If there's a huge thread that if you don't see it, it's not happening.
Exactly.
Right? If you don't see it, then you're not happening.
That's why the industry has windowless buildings and bans video recording inside. So the footage for movies like Earthlings that have inspired so many people, it's the first time people have ever seen this, and it's vegans going in wearing undercover cameras and filming. Like the people who care most have to apply for the job and do that. And now it's so heartbreaking, but it creates so much positive change. And now there's other movements like Meet the Victims, which I was just part of a couple months ago, where we went in and locked down a pig farm and brought a lot of news attention to that facility as well.
It's powerful to do that. Yeah. And and it's not only with animals, it's like, remember when I mentioned that in a square meter there's 50 kilograms of waste? If we don't see it, it's not happening. But we are doing that.
Yeah, we are
contributing to that every single day.
Yeah.
It's the same as with the animals. If you don't see it, it's not happening.
Yeah.
But we are not only eating animal products, but also consuming products. You know where those products come from? Like, they got mined, they got processed, they got shipped, they got packaged, and all those resources, if they were right in our face, if they literally right in our face, like just fumes coming out and like dripping of oil everywhere
and blood.
Gases, if you were to see that, you'd be like, holy moly, like it's the same impact of seeing an animal in their eyes before the slaughterhouses.
Totally.
So that's what I love, people who share their ideas and share footage of crazy.
Totally. And
put into perspective what.
Anonymous for the Voiceless is another great organization that I'm a part of.
Yeah.
We show footage of animals in factory farms and slaughterhouses on the streets, and people can come up to the demonstration and watch, and then there's like people ready to have conversations. Those conversations are usually so great because the people approach you, and then the first thing I usually say is thanks so much for watching, because they are taking a moment to witness what the animals are going through. And then we have such great conversations because people have generally never seen this. I would love to start up some street activism for zero waste too, just to show people like the plastic pollution. The videos of like the plastic islands are so powerful, and that's what really set me up for zero waste living as well. Like there's an art installation that I mentioned in the workshop. The whale, it's the size of the biggest whale in the world, and that's how much plastic's entering our ocean every second from human consumption. So to see that, like,
plays a big impact.
Like every second, can you just imagine that much plastic?
It's great. It's goosebumpy kind of thoughts that we have power to do this.
Totally.
And how can we utilize it? At the same time, though, it's tricky. It's tricky to spread a message out there.
It is.
Very tricky. Because, and this is why I love human psychology, because when you approach someone, it is tricky to read them, how they are going to react. Are you really putting a seed in their brain, or are you actually putting a hammer in their brain?
You know what? I think
be a vegan. It's like
I think like most people are more receptive to an understanding kind of two-way conversation type of approach. It definitely has
to be two ways.
Seeing where people are at, asking them for their thoughts, listening when they speak, and making it more of a conversation. But some people really do respond to the shouty "go vegan" in your face. But most people no. That's not the most effective strategy for most people, but it has a time and place as well.
That time and place, and you gotta read that. And as an activist, you really gotta know human psychology and how to spread your message efficiently.
Have you heard of Melanie Joy?
No.
Okay, so she's great. She brings the psychology and the psychology of eating animals, and she has some great videos online that talk about why people eat animals. yeah, I would just recommend checking out her
Yeah,
videos
definitely.
on that topic.
I'll put it in the show notes too.
Cool.
Yeah, all these, and then it's also with zero waste, because when I had a conversation with someone the other day, and it was with a picture of the whale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we were sitting down in a coffee table, and I showed her the whale, and I forgot what I said, but I wasn't impeccable with my word, and the other person took it really aggressively, like the other person took it like, wow, why are you offending me, you know? And we had a 20-minute conversation about it. I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah.
This is the way that I should have done. Like saying, I am proud that you brought your glass coffee cup. You're not contributing to this.
Totally.
I showed them the picture.
Totally.
That would have been way better than, hey, look at this.
Yeah.
Are you doing this? I think I said something on the lines of
No
that.
one's perfect, like we said earlier. But you know what? Anger is actually one of the stages of change as
Yes,
well.
100%.
So
That's
if
another stage of human psychology.
if someone's reacting from anger, they're one step closer to change.
Yeah, because they get defensive because they know they're wrong.
Exactly.
Well-
And they're going to work through that, and they're going to
Yeah.
have some realizations and
Yeah.
continue on that path of change.
A book on human conversation that I would love for you guys to read is, or not read. I never read
In
books.
3 years, when I finish the other
No.
book you recommended.
I'm telling you, I never read books. I read the cover, and then I flip a page, and I read like whatever sentence, and it's in my brain forever. And I leave the book behind. I'd never finish a book about like these kinds of topics, because I get the message and it's like, okay, I'm good. That's all I need from this book. The Four Agreements. That's
Four Agreements.
The Four Agreements
Okay.
by Don Miguel Ruiz. Beautiful book about conversations.
Cool.
And about like interactions in general and relationships. And it's super powerful for people who are trying to spread a message out there, or even in your day-to-day life with your partner, or
Yeah, healthy relationships.
healthy relationships. Yeah. And I want to start talking about, you mentioned fulfillment, like how to feel fulfilled, and I was struck by this question the other day on how do I find fulfillment. And that is one of the reasons, in my opinion, why I started this podcast, because I graduated university, and now I'm in the caster wheel running. I got my degree.
Yeah.
Now I got work, and I'm still running. And then I got work one day, and my wife, she reflects a lot. She's a childhood educator, and she said she was reflecting on her identities. What are my identities, you know? If you take this away, the thing that you do most, what are you? So me, I'm an engineer. If you take away engineering, who am I? And I'm like, damn, like, that's why I don't feel fulfilled. Like, let's explore my identities. So then I started exploring my identities. Hey, there she is. That's my wife.
Aw, hi.
Hey, baby.
Been hearing lots about you.
Yeah? This is Hope.
What's your identity?
My identity?
Deep
She has a
question.
lot, yeah.
Hi.
Yeah.
Can I drink this?
Yeah.
I'm
Definitely.
Tosha. Nice to meet you.
I'm Sol.
Sol?
Sí.
It's a beautiful
Mucho
name.
gusto.
You know what? It's crazy.
Dígame.
It's crazy. I was thinking about that name.
Really?
Yeah, the other day, because we had names for children.
We have.
We have, yeah. And one of them is Vida. You
Vida.
know, Vida, which means life.
Yeah.
And then I thought Sol.
Yeah.
And you're here. That's the message, dude. It's a message.
It's a good name.
Yeah.
In my personal experience as a kid, it was a rough name, especially growing up in Latin America. You know, like
Oh, yeah,
we're
definitely.
bullies, man, down there.
Yeah.
So I got a lot of bullying as a kid, but now, like that, I embraced it. It's a beautiful name, and like
I
it
love
served
it,
me
man.
very well
Yeah.
from many angles.
Definitely, yeah. So with the identities, like my wife, she was doing this reflective piece, and then I took away engineering away, and I'm like, damn, what do I have? And then I started writing them down. An adventurer, an athlete, a writer, a creator. And all of a sudden I found out, oh my God, I'm actually have so many identities that I can explode. And then I started exploding the different identities that I have. I started this podcast. That's my creative side of my identity. And then I started writing more. So that's my writer side of identity. And then all of a sudden I started feeling more fulfilled. Other than just being in the caster wheel.
Totally, yeah.
So if you take time to reflect on all the things that make you happy,
And give you purpose and fulfill your potential.
like yourself, you go out in nature and that makes you happy. You
It
know?
does make me happy.
You like putting events together.
I like
But
bringing
couldn't-
people together.
What?
Couldn't you find your identity also through your profession?
Yes, that is true. But
Like,
if
you find it like what type of engineering do you do?
mechanical,
Mechanical, like.
yeah.
And what were your identity traits?
I wrote them down. It said I'm a husband, right? Of course, that provides for my wife. That is the main reason why I work, because I'm a husband. I'm a lover who loves his soulmate, who just happens to be my wife. I'm an athlete and I'm an adventurer who loves experiencing different and isolated environments, just raw environments. I love that about adventuring, that you enter a place and it's just raw, with no human impact.
Yes, I
That is
love
so
that
powerful.
too.
That's why I love the ocean.
Me
Because
too.
it's so raw. There's like,
Except for the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. That part.
except for all the plastic, and there's probably microplastics everywhere, but it's raw, you know? It's
Putting
like,
that aside. Yeah.
And then another one was a philosopher who loves thinking about life and paths to fulfillment, a creator, a romantic, an
Yeah.
engineer. But the thing about the engineer, though, like I'm glad that you asked about how fun with your profession. The thing about me is that I happen to accidentally, because of my legacy of my mother, she is an architect, get exposed to engineering. And I just happen to be good at it. But in no part of my life did I chose to be an engineer.
It's not your passion.
Exactly. That's it. It's not my passion. It's just something that society gave
Yes.
to me.
If you can
know?
find work that fulfills you, that's way more rewarding.
Yeah.
But you can use it as a tool.
I can exactly.
Like,
I
it's a
can use it
toolkit.
as
It's
a
a
tool.
tool set you have.
It's a toolkit that I can use to whiz around to my passion.
But you feel more fulfilled now that you're doing that work and the podcast.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Good.
I'm just having conversations like this one, and being with my wife, and having beautiful dinners. You know, going to the market. That's just so
Yeah.
many. And I encourage everyone to write a list of all of your identities, of all
I'm
the
gonna do
things that you think you like, and all the things that you think you're passionate about, and then actually putting more time into them. And it's just beautiful, and it has helped me a lot.
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, because I wasn't fulfilled at the beginning of my journey, but now it's more.
Yay.
It's better.
So happy for you. That's so good.
But anyways,
To survive the wheel, you need a passion project.
yeah, that is true.
Like otherwise, like yeah, we're humans, you know. Like we need to be filled with emotions and like fulfillment and stuff that you like. And many times, like the workforce doesn't give you that.
Yeah,
You know, it's hard to find within like the typical jobs something that really resonates with who you are.
yeah. So you need a project that explodes that.
You find a project or a hobby, or you just convert it into your full-time thing in a way, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you
I
should be
agree.
creative and figure it out, assemble your team, find your people, find your tribe, and go for it, you know?
And give it.
Like, that resonates a lot with me. Like, recently, I graduated from university and I started working as an engineer as well. I'm a civil engineer, and while in university, I started a project in Nicaragua with some friends that I met in Vancouver at the University of British Columbia, and I noticed that just by surrounding myself with, first of all, with friends and people that had a mindset similar to mine, I enjoyed more the work that I'm doing.
Yeah.
And we flew down to Nicaragua, we bought a one-way ticket, and we spent time in this small rural community in the Pacific South Coast of Nicaragua, and we started just making friends in the community through surfing, because we like to surf and it was right on the beach, and it was an easy way to develop relationships. And after that, we just started having conversations around the stuff that mattered to us, and to us it was saving the planet, and like how can we like empower communities that don't have access to knowledge in the same way we've been exposed to, you know, just because I was born in a privileged class that allowed me to come and study. So I'm the more you know, the less you need. You know, so like in a way, like now that I have that education at sunken cost, let's just go and share it. And we started having conversation, dinners, and eventually a lot of like community engagement. And the community needed is a place to like harness knowledge.
Yeah,
And we decided to build a school of conservation for that community. And myself as an engineer, like I direct the Department of Built Environments. And today Casa Congo is the name of the organization. It's a school that empowers communities with skills and resources for sustainable development. And honestly, while still being a student, I was doing this, but it was kind of work, but I wasn't getting paid, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And looking back into it, like it was hard work. Like
Of
people
course.
would get paid to do stuff like that, you know. But I never saw it as work in my life. And now that I'm working full time as a structural engineer in Vancouver, it's like, okay, like this feels like work, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, why am I doing this sometimes, you know?
But like you said, it's a tool, right?
Yeah, it's a tool.
And we are so deep in this life that we need strategically to live our lives. And by working in our fields, it gives us an up so we can share the knowledge, so we can come with our next big idea, so we can generate conversations with people in a comfortable manner, not just worrying about surviving, to do something.
100%. I think that now our society is more shifting to job creators and job seekers.
Yeah.
And that is part of the movement too. You know, the whole like, how do we save the planet?
Yeah.
Like we're converting ourselves into creating jobs that are more socially rooted in a way versus just like jobs that are focused on making profit.
Yeah.
And
That's-
we're shifting more to
yeah.
the mindset of people over profit. And
Yeah.
that is like part of how we can contribute to the movement, you know?
Yeah.
Is by not putting, like dedicating our lives to
Yeah.
a company and their values, you know, unless like you really align with the values and you know they're good for you as a person on the planet, then go for it.
Yeah. But I like
you know.
I like what you said, creating communities. So that should creating work with people.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what Peace People Project became as well, right? So, like, with wanting to spread the message for the animals and the planet on shirts, now that's a source of income for me to fuel this project, and I give 50% back to the animals as well. So it's a way to support myself and my work and others. And with some of the workshops I do, sometimes I charge, sometimes I do them for free. And some of the festivals that I do, sometimes I make some money, sometimes I don't. But you can really build something that's passion-based and that's not like a mainstream type of job. And you can make it sustain and support yourself as well.
Yeah.
Which is really cool and exciting.
It's very cool. And I like what you said, that the more knowledge you have, the less you need. It is so true.
Yeah.
That is so true. 100% true. The more you know about life and what this planet is all about and how, the less you need, you know?
Yeah, my sister told me that.
It's powerful. It's
It's
very
true.
powerful. So have you thought about your...
Oh no, my
Your-
billboard! Oh gosh.
Oh no!
Why don't I just read off some of the slogans on my shirts?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can do it.
Which one's your favorite one?
Which
Yeah.
one's my favorite
I know
one?
they're all
You know what? I think this one is actually my favorite one, Vegan Lover, because it has a dual meaning.
It does.
It could be interpreted as like, you're a vegan who loves,
Yeah.
or you love vegans.
Yeah, that is
Right?
true.
And it's such a positive,
Yeah.
fun message
It is.
that has an identity attached to it, as well as like, a message for others. So I think that one might actually be my favorite, but also Stop Using Plastic is one of my favorites. Not as like lovey-dovey, more straight to
More
the
straight
point.
to the point, yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I like them.
Yeah. Okay, so now I want to ask you both. Nowadays, what excites you?
What excites me? My cats.
Yeah? Just bring full happy, unconditional love.
Oh my gosh, they're the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Full
trees.
Trees, yeah. Trees are powerful. I love trees.
Me too.
Have you read The Hidden Life of Trees? Another good
Don't
book.
read.
Okay, don't read it, but read the back of it.
Okay. You've got a 9-year plan for me now. 3 books. Oh my gosh.
I haven't read them. I'm telling you, I read one page or two, and it's already so powerful to me.
Cool.
What about you? What excites you? Sol. That's a beautiful name.
Maybe the future name of your child.
that excites you. There you go.
What excites me, I think, like contributing actively to solving the climate change crisis and like saving our planet, you know. I'm very excited where I'm at right now in my life and the skills I've acquired to actively participate in that movement.
Yeah.
But I want to like be creating like change at first hand, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just there's a lot of options
There's so many
that you can
options.
go for. So I'm just taking one step at a time and seeing where it goes. But the end thought that we can actually like save the planet and solve all this mess we've created and taking responsibility for it ties back to what Tosha was saying, you know, like be responsible for your actions. If you go to the supermarket and you buy a single-use plastic, then like be responsible for that.
It's never going to disappear.
Yeah, so taking responsibility for the collective action as humans that we have taken on the planet and
see where we can go with that.
What about you? What excites you?
Me? This excites me. Conversations like this excite me so much.
It's been a very exciting
It's crazy,
one.
you know. It's like it fuels me to keep doing better and keep walking the talk and keep trying to figure out a way on how to live life without consuming and without supporting industries that I don't believe in. It's hard and it's challenging, but it drives me to do better.
It's beautiful too.
Yeah, I love conversations like this, and I love my wife too.
We get it. I'm just kidding. No, never stop saying it. It's so nice.
And what excites you?
Right now, I'm writing a children's cookbook. So that's I'm really like focused on that. I'm really excited to give it to the families that I'm writing it for. So,
What are some of the recipes?
just a bunch of different muffins and pancakes and smoothies and popsicles and I think tofu scrambles, and it's all vegan,
Yay.
plant-based, and trying to spread that zero waste. Also, like trying to give them lots of resources here in Victoria to go to. So it's like everything that I value in life put into one thing for all the children to take home and keep at home.
Amazing.
So it's exciting me right now.
Sign me up for an ebook.
Yeah, you would like? I would love to send it to you for sure. I'm working on this. So yeah, that's pretty. I'm excited because of that.
That's beautiful, baby. And I think that's very powerful. You know, the new genre that's coming in, the new people that are gonna take this path and take this message across. They need to be exposed to an environment and to things that are truly important for this world. And the children, I'm talking specifically children from 0 to 5.
Yeah,
Important.
very important to
That
include
they-
them.
That include everything, all the thoughts that we
Yeah.
have, and include them because they're the future.
I love when people come up to the animal rights demonstrations with their kids and I say like, are you okay if they watch this? And they're like, yes, of course. Like, the
Wow.
more you know,
Yeah.
right?
The more you know, yeah. The earliest you can start, the better.
But I think that's already part of the education system, especially in countries like Canada.
You think so?
Like environmentalism, like zero waste,
Yeah.
like it's very rooted. Even like veganism, like Canada, I think is the Canadian schools. I read somewhere
Maybe
that
now, not when I went through.
obviously like not when we went, but like
Yeah.
now. So
Yeah.
like, but the problem is that it takes a long time.
It does take
There's
a
a
long time.
generation, like it's a generation. So the question is can the planet bear that time?
Yeah.
Like I don't think so. Like I think we need to change the mindset of the people that are fueling it now, which is the older generations, including us.
Yeah.
And kids are just gonna go there to like reinforce
Yeah.
the change that we enacted and strengthen it and hopefully finish up
Yeah.
the
And we-
cleaning.
But to be honest, we are at our prime right now. We have gained all the skills, 20 something years of life, or how old are you guys? 20 something?
31.
31. All these years of knowledge that we have, we are at our prime to share it, to expose it, like you said, to save this world. So let's give it. Yeah!
Yeah. Save the planet.
All right. So, do I have any more questions? No, I don't think so. I'm good. What about you? Do you guys have any more questions? Any more knowledge that you would like to share? Where can we find you?
You can find me chalking the streets of Vancouver or at the thrift shops. And if you'd like to use a cellular device to find me, Peace People Project on all the platforms and peacepeopleproject.com.
Peacepeopleproject.com.
Booyah.
Booyah.
Nice. And if you guys are trying to find me physically, go find me in any popular Vancouver cycling route. I'll probably be there cycling up Cypress, Seymour. I love cycling, man. I just move around and bike around a lot.
It's your passion?
It's my passion.
One of your passions?
I even get sick of the smell from cars now.
Yeah.
I was just telling Tosha earlier that we were over by the wharf, and when the airplanes they take off,
you can smell the fuel.
I smell the fuel, and like I mentioned that to her, and it was amazing to me that it didn't bother her, but it bothered me.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because for the past year I've just been on a bike.
Yeah.
I just get in a car for like long distance trips, and it's from an air quality point of view and health.
Yeah.
Like it's just way better.
Yeah, I agree.
Transition to electric or bike.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you want to find me online, follow Casa Congo Conservation and check out our website. My email's there, and just shoot me an hola.
Anola, there you go. Anola to soul. There you go. Well, thank you for coming. Thank you
Thanks
for
for
having a
having
beautiful
us.
conversation. That was very beautiful. I loved it.
It really was.
And hopefully it motivates a lot of people, and hopefully it motivates ourselves to keep getting there
Yes,
and
we
keep
can do
doing
better too.
Yeah, exactly, definitely. And if you like this podcast, give us a thumbs up. You can find us at adventuringforknowledge.com.
Thumbs up.
adventuringforknowledge.com. You can also find us on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, and on all the social media stuff. Well, thank you, everyone. Have a beautiful day. Have a beautiful night. Have a beautiful life. And remember to get out there in nature. Follow vegan, zero waste, and minimalism.
Save the planet.
Save the planet. Let's do it.
Yeah, baby.
And always remember to disconnect and relax your mind.
It's important to get out, soak up the energy from nature, be one with nature, spend time with the ones you love, and in general, love.
And most importantly, never stop adventuring for knowledge.